Welcome to another episode of Stamped. I'm your host, Samuel Patrick, joined by Kiki.D. How's it going, Kiki?
Not so much. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Bright and early, ready to start talking about hip hop, start the day on a energetic foot, with some new music. For those of y'all who haven't tuned in before, Stamped is a series where we go through the submissions we get every day from artists out there around the world, and we go through and we pick some of our favorite submissions and we share them with y'all. We're doing it monthly, and these are just some songs that stood out to us from the batch. We get a lot of fire. We also play a ton of music on LFOD radio every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. That's on 91.5 in Boston and streaming on our website, www.lfod.life. If you hit the site, you can check out past episodes as well as interviews, original music, freestyles, mixes, and more. That's lfod.life. And if you're an artist, you'll see a place to share your art, or you can go straight to lfod.life slash submissions. You ready to do this?
I'm ready. And then before we get into the stamp part, I definitely want to, as you said, start this episode with hip hop and really give a big shout out to both Aziz the Sheikh and Bia Bia for the collab that they released this week with
London,
J. Cole,
out in
titled
London
London.
town. Let
Yes.
me not do my accent. I gotta practice it. Yeah, shout out Bia, shout out Aziz, and shout out the homies John Glass and Tim Nyan co-produced that as well. It's a big Boston record.
Yes. Yes.
Big shout out. You rocking with it then?
For me, it was so nice hearing her spaz for like the first 2 minutes. You know, she didn't just say, J. Cole, come get on this song. She said, J. Cole, I'm on the song. Come get on the song with me. And then in the beginning, it was really awesome to hear Aziz the Sheikh's tag. And that was the full circle moment for me.
Aziz. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been playing a ton of his music on here, so that was it's been cool for sure. She went off
Yes.
too. She didn't. Yeah, it wasn't a 16. It was like a significant amount of rapping.
Right.
Did you see J. Cole's Instagram post?
No, not yet.
Oh, it was cool. He basically said, like he fanned out. It was really cool. He said she had pulled up to the studio to meet him, just
Hmm.
to chop it up on whatever. And she had just done that song, so she played it for him, and like he loved it. And he said it was like just stuck in his head. And then like a month later, they reconnected on something, and he ended up being invited onto the song, and he was like amped because that was like it had been like he couldn't wait to hear it again already, and then he
Nice.
got invited to be on it, so it seemed really organic.
Nice.
Word. So huge shout out the home team, big moves being made. All right, so we're getting right into it. We got this Superior with Stove God Cooks. This one, I kind of have a lot to say because I did a deep dive because I have a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions after playing this, but I'm gonna
Mm.
let the record go first. This is from a two-song EP. The two of them just dropped together. It's got this and a record called Sweet Dreams on it. Superior's the
Okay.
producer. He's from Germany. Stove God Cooks is from Syracuse, New York. They linked up and they made this record right here. It's called 161.
80,000 on the dresser with the AP. Yeah. I had a dream that I was broke and now I can't sleep. I had a dream they kicked the door, they came to raid me. I can't go, the plug about to throw me a 80. I came from big coke shit, goat shit. Now the writing in the sky so fucking serious. God quote shit. My nigga bailed out and then ghosted. But ain't no love on the run, Billy Ocean. We was buying raw, now we buying them all. My young boy catch you shopping, you die in the store. All cause you was dying to soar. You gotta land before your time, now you dinosaur. 100 bricks in my mama crib. I had 100. I had my young boy come shoot where your mama live. He ain't got no kind of sense. I had 100 bricks in my mama crib. Came here on a ship.
All right. So that was Stove God Cooks over Superior Production. And shout out Superior. He's been sending us stuff actually only for a few months now. I think the first time he reached out to us was this record he had done with Lord Juco and Cousin Fio. We spun that on LFOD radio. But he's got an EP with our guy SD Knack that he dropped last year or 2 years ago, I think. He had a record with Ito that did really well. And he just seems like he's from Germany. And it seems like he's just like working hard and just tapping in with these underground dudes, some real spitters, and just putting together bodies of work with them. So I'm definitely tuned into him. And before I go on my Stove God Cooks diatribe, do you have any thoughts on that record?
Well, I like how he was like, you put the brick behind the vent, don't turn the AC on, and a lot of the lines were well written and his flow was on point. So that was from the gate. And with all that being said, I'll have to double stamp that one on today's episode. And I'm
Word.
really happy to be introduced to Superior.
Dope. The double stamp. Yeah, he's got he said I had a dream that I was broke and now I can't sleep. And then he said his bars are like this one was funny. Did you ever see The Land Before Time, that like children's movie about
No.
the brontosaurus that's
Mm-mm.
trying to get, it's about little baby dinosaurs like trying to flee a mass extinction event. It's like a cartoon for kids, but it's funny. So he said all because you were dying to soar, gotta land before your time, now you're dinosaur. And I just think it's funny that he made a bar about killing someone about like a animated film for children. So I appreciate, like, he took a lot of effort to get that bar out. And I did a deep dive on Stove God Cooks because yeah, and he has a real conversational flow because he kind of popped up to me out of nowhere and probably to a lot of people in 2020. His debut project was produced by Rock Marciano, which basically immediately put him on the scene and on people's radar. And he did his thing on it for sure. Entirely produced by Rock Marcy. So he got Rock's beats. He's sort of under Rock's wing a bit. And he has a nice spot with his style where he's kind of between Rock, but also between West Side with how he does his hooks and stuff and like stretching out. And I guess he's co-signed, he's got associations with both of them. So he's got this nice little middle ground, but it's obvious he didn't just start rapping in 2020. So I had to look it up and it took some digging. And I'm sure there might be other people out there who aren't quite familiar. So I wanted to get into it. It seems like he actually has been out. The earliest thing I could find was he was on Sway in 2015. He used to go by Aaron Cooks. So it was like a name change. He switched his name and then popped up out of, so it seemed like he was a new artist, started fresh, which is a great trick for folks if like you feel like you've been putting in a lot of work and you want to hit it in a different direction, like with what you know. So he was originally Aaron Cooks. I found a freestyle he did on Sway. Similar thing. He's rapping, just sort of talking to Sway, and then he has these random bars that like are like 3 layers deep that you may or may not catch, but he's throwing them out there. And he was signed by Busta in 2017. Seems like he's also managed by Lord Jamar, and then now he's signed to Baby Grand, or he was in 2021. I don't know if it was a single record deal or multi-record deal. And they said it was their largest deal they've ever given an artist in history. So he's got all these massive cosigns. And it just seems like he's going to be around for a while and making a lot of moves. And he's got an interesting style. So I'm glad you got the double stamp there.
Right.
So yeah, that's my record. That's my little Stove God Cooks journalistic endeavor there. I feel like I know him better now. Hopefully y'all do too. And we got a record on the way from you, Kiki.D. Let's get into this. J Love, Pedigree, featuring Swigga. We're on Stamped.
Now take a sec to check the pedigree. There ain't another motherfucker that's better than Swigga. Time to get the principle of this pedigree. Yeah, let's see what the pedigree is. I'm quick to tell them what my pedigree is. Medically fit and can't nobody fuck with me. I'm on my celibate shit. And you know the pedigree of my elements clean. For some, if it wasn't for us, they would never exist or cease to exist. Treat them like a cease and desist. I have our legal teams treat them like they pieces of shit. My crew is woven in the fabric and a needle and stitch. We probably wind up in museums if the people see fit. My pedigree is pure breed, but the last of a dying. Ran with the lions in our land with immaculate timing. And the thermostat control that adapt to the climate. Got me swinging from tree to tree without having to climb it. If you follow me, you following protocol. Or you with Conrad Murray swallowing propofol. Businessman and farmer switch from Dockers to overall.
If you follow me, you follow in protocol. Boss talk, that is the seasoned MC speaking. And I heard it all and appreciate it all. So that's why this is the song I stamped this week. And I look forward to more submissions from either this combo or J-Lo.
Yeah, I liked second dude said, you know, with a needle and stitch, so I'll be in the museum if the people see fit. So I don't know if he's talking about making the shirt, and you know, if you see his fit, you'll put him in the museum. So that was cool.
That is another great bar too. And again, this is another song, and I love to pay attention to songs like this where they're not wasting any time from the 15 seconds that it starts. You know, you're hearing a standout line. You're hearing they know what direction they want to go, and that energy is being kept throughout.
If I'm being real with you, I personally would have turned that off at the 30-second mark and never heard the second verse. So I appreciate you getting me to it so I could grab that.
I feel you, and that's why I speak more specifically with this song lyrically. You notice how I didn't necessarily mention sonically or production-wise. It really is more so just, you know, from an MC standpoint, they nailed it. And
the lyrics are specifically what would have caused me to turn it off.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah, you told me to start talking more about my opinions, so I'm sharing them
sure.
a little bit. Yeah.
I'm taking a second to remember what the opening line was, but I know it was something like
once people say mumble rap, I'm just tuning out. Once you say mumble rap and start talking about the kids screwing up the game, I'm like,
okay.
See you later, you know?
Okay.
That's just me.
Okay, respected. Yeah, I mean, shout out to J Love and Swigga, but definitely something to be mindful of.
The flows were on point. It sounded, you know, they were rapping. They can rap, for sure.
Yes. So for all rappers out there, this is a good example. If you're talking about an overall song, this may not be the best example. I definitely feel your pick was stronger.
Oh, no need to
AKA
say
superior.
That. Superior. Let's go. Bar work. All right. So shout out to J Love. Shout out to Swigga, Pedigree. We appreciate everyone sending us records. That got the stamp from Kiki.D. And if you are an artist tuned in and you want to send us some stuff, LFOD.life/submissions. If y'all got feedback, if you want to throw your own thoughts in the mix, at LFOD Life, it's scrolling right across the bottom there. Let us know. And we're also going to link these records in the description on YouTube, so you can just click there and go right to them themselves, and you can tap in with the artist directly, let them know where you heard about them, all that good stuff. I'm taking it to Baltimore, Maryland with Alan Ward. This record right here is called Hands, Please, and I'm giving this one the stamp.
Hands Please by Alan Ward. Alan Ward, Hands Please.
Just keep your hands popping. 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 What? Next
episode, yeah, this beans got me kinda close to the end. Overwatch, no, it's not. You just sleep, man, it's boss pig. Please keep leaving me out your tweets. The mama's boy, me and her lost our besties the same week. Mine hates me for life, hers. She won't ever see fucking up. That's my specialty. 40 ounces, my specialty, man. Leave me big. Like that cute shorty from last week. 4-4.
As long as you keep your hands popping. Alan Ward, Hands Please. So I like that one for a few reasons. His voice, first of all. I don't know if the sort of lo-fi-ish nature of things was on purpose or just like a result of his setup, but either way it was like I'm interested like in how it sounded and in that direction should he choose to pursue it. And same deal with like his flow. It wasn't overly like quantized or like syncopated. It was really like he was just sort of talking and getting some things out, and the rhyme schemes were more internal. He was just kind of chopping it up. It felt like he was, especially because he was talking about like, you know, drinking his 40 and this and that. It kind of felt like you were just sort of chilling in whatever his space was. He set up the vibe, you could feel it, and you were kind of like just hanging, and he was like rapping with you about, you know, whatever was going on in his life. So I like that he really brought you in there. It had this old like, kind of reminded me of like an old underground vibe, but like overall the vibe I'm with. I like when you have slower beats like that. I feel like that's the best way to rap on them, and I like how he did that. He sort of played with the time and came in and out of it, and really just sort of talked to you. And plus, I could see the hook being fun live. You know, I always appreciate a live anthem that you can get your hands up to. So, Alan Ward, appreciate you sending that in. Definitely stamped.
This is a live anthem, and I'm curious, is there anything about the song that you didn't like, or anything you would suggest if you had a chance to make the song better?
I feel like I wouldn't go so far as to say didn't like, but I can tell he's probably...
Oh, wow, so far to say.
What?
Such a far thing to know. Keep going.
So I can tell that he's probably, you know, closer to the beginning of his career. So I assume he's going to get better. The 40 being his specialty, like there were lines that stood up, and I think he was talking about like how he lost his girl and she just won't talk to him, but his friend or someone else lost someone that they'll never see again. Like, so he was comparing some different things. He was like getting transparent with it. I feel like, and the rhymes were there. He didn't, like, there were no earth-shattering bars that I was like, you know, like super quotables, but I feel like he has all the pieces. And like, I'm curious to see, I'm interested to see him keep leveling up. So I wouldn't say there's anything I didn't like, but I feel like he's got probably better stuff in him. This is a great starting place, and it's a song I'll probably listen to again for sure.
Well, you pointing out that it sounds like he's in the early stages of his career is what I felt similarly about the song and why it wasn't something that I wanted to stamp personally. But I also wonder how you would compare this song to the song by J Love and Swigga, and how they both may sound like they're in early stages of the career or not.
Yeah, so this one felt like he was sort of doing his thing, and it was, I mean, it's on SoundCloud. I think it has 26 views. It was like he's putting out music, and I like what he has and where he's going and the elements of it. And it sounds, especially like in rap, honestly, the voice and the flow are the most important thing. And like you can figure out what to say after that. And some people might disagree with that, but I think that goes a long way. So I feel like he had those pieces, whereas not to knock the other one, I don't want to do that, but the other one, they sound like they're more developed. Swigga actually, just reading the bio and how it was sent over, He's more of a, he's an established MC. He's, you know, been in the game for a while. He's a vet. He knows what he's doing. And then the rest of it, the first thing I heard, it reminded me from the second he started rapping, it reminded me of a Non-Fiction song that like you might have heard on one of their first albums. And it just sounded like they tried to make an early 2000s, late 90s boom bap song. And they did that. But to me, that's not super interesting. I don't know where you go from there. You know what I mean? And it was from a point of, it seemed like they were looking backwards. Again, not to pick on them, but like even all the slang, like, yo, I'm good money, like it was like old slang and like vintage sounding beat. It was nothing I hadn't heard before. So it doesn't inspire me to think. And everyone has to start by like mimicking or imitating what they're inspired by. But I just got the vibe that they were probably on some like super true to the game stuff, and that was probably going to be the lane that they're going to stay in. And that's cool. A lot of people love that. I'm not knocking it at all. Just for me, that's not the type of music I'm interested in hearing. And it takes skill to do it. I'm not taking away from that. It's just not interesting to me.
Got it. Well, thank you for, expanding. I was just curious, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Who's up next, Kiki? And thank you for providing the counterpoint why Alan wasn't going to get past your screen. You know what I mean? Because it is interesting how different people respond differently to like potential.
Yeah.
He's going to have one that you're going to stamp someday. I'm going to call it right now.
Yes.
It might be years from now, but it'll happen. You're going to have an Alan Ward song in your rotation.
I see it happening. I do see it happening. And
Word.
last but not least, we are done with this episode simply because I double stamped that first one.
Okay.
That's my pick as well. Superior. And yeah, I'll pass it off.
That's only our second double stamp. Let's clap it up for Superior and Stove God Cooks. Double stamp number 2.
Yeah. Yeah. And unexpected. So, I look forward to, who knows, maybe next time it will be an Alan Ward song you play and I'm like, hey, double stamp. But Superior got this one, and hopefully, I don't know, it seems like every 3 months we do like a double stamp. Let's see if we can.
Let's get the quality up, guys. Let's keep it fire. Although if we keep double stamping, we're gonna have to extend the episodes, or it'll be real quick if it's just 2 songs. The first, here's a piece of stamped history. The first double stamped is where we got the name for Stamped from, because we didn't have a name and we agreed, and I was like, oh, double stamp that, or something like that. And you're like, is that the name? Is that what we're calling this? So yeah, look how far we've come.
Yes. And I told you about this the other day, but I sometimes laugh when I look at the very first episode that we had, and it's in a great way because it's like you see over time the evolution right in front of your eyes, from small design changes to, big design changes. The people are going to be just as shocked as I was, I believe. But it's just funny to look at the episode where we're just like stamped, and it's just like so pure, so simple.
Yeah, we put the pilot out for sure. We didn't tune it up before releasing to the masses. We got right to the streets, you know what I mean? And people responded immediately, which was really cool, So we're heading out of here. Hey, if you're an artist and you want to get stamped, lfod.life/submissions. Send it over. Not only do we play records on here, we spin a whole lot more on LFOD radio. That's every Tuesday, 91.5 FM in Boston, streaming at lfod.life. If you hit our site, you can look around. You can find in-depth interviews. We do monthly live streams. We have put out original music, freestyles, all sorts of things. You can tap in with us. We got a whole lot going on. And if you're a fan, if you're an artist, we want to hear from you at LFOD Life. Let's get the conversation going. Kiki.D, I appreciate you so much. You've been a big part of this journey, taking things to a new level. Thank you. And any final words for the folks?
Yes, if you believe you have what it takes to get Jeff Sonics and I to double stamp a song of yours, then please, as he said, submit. And I'm so excited to be listening to new music over the next few weeks.
Let's go. All right. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Positivity is a better movement. Let us do this. Level up and get into this evolution. Revolutionary math and music. Get us choosing everything but less excuses. Shout out to the kings and queens with everything to lose. They never lose it.
So much glory in